Hey, I'm Steve Oakers here with Ethan Butte from Bomb Bomb.
Yes, thanks for
Obviously. My buddy Ethan has come into town, and I like to hang out with Ethan every time he comes into town.
I like hanging out with you too,
I know
Steve. Here
beers
we are.
and pizza are usually where we go,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we'll be having that after this. So we didn't want to start burping or anything on camera.
No.
So, but what we want to do here today is just to introduce you more to Ethan, what Ethan does, and then also talk a little bit about work-life balance. Seems like in our audience of real estate and real estate training and real estate brokerage, it's go, go, go. How fast can you make money and how fast can you be successful, right? And
Yeah.
so we talk often about our families, connected with Ethan's wife, Megan. Shout out to Megan. And just thought we'd have a conversation on what it is to balance life together. So
Good.
give us the rundown. Bomb Bomb, it's something that I use on a weekly basis, but anybody that doesn't know what Bomb Bomb is, or the hat that I wear consistently is,
Yeah.
give them the guidelines.
Yeah, so we our whole goal is to make it easy to get face to face with more people more often.
Okay.
Ultimately, it's about improving face to face communication through simple video is the best way to do it, right? So
Right.
from a real estate perspective, or really anybody,
Right.
particularly sales folks, though, you're better in person than you are in a typed out email, or you're better in person
Yep.
than you are over the phone. That's how we connect with each other most effectively, is like this, right?
Right.
But you and I can talk on the phone, but we're going to connect better when we can be in the same space with one another because of the face to face. Some
Yeah.
real estate people call it belly to belly.
Belly
It's
to
still
belly,
kind
toe
of-
to toe. Yeah.
Yeah, I really prefer face to face. I'll tell you.
Yeah, let's not go belly to belly.
So in any case, we all know that that's best, but we're
Right.
so busy, time gets in the way, distance gets in the way, and so simple video inside your Gmail inbox is something that we just released,
Right.
or with your webcam at your desk, or nicely produced video like your guy
Right.
Colt's doing with us right now. Shout out to Colt too.
Hey.
So there are lots of ways to do it, but our whole goal is to, instead of relying on all this typed out stuff that requires
Yeah.
emoticons so people don't misconstrue your meaning, you can just look people in the eye and talk to
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
in a way that's really efficient.
Right. So ultimately, it's an email platformed video,
Yep.
correct? I mean,
Correct.
at
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
at
You
the
record
basics,
simple
right?
videos, send them out in emails.
Right,
You can also
right.
text them and share them to social, but it's really
Right.
it started as the concept of video in email.
Right. So we at SVG Real Estate Firm ultimately use it as our weekly email blast to our clients, right? We incorporate the video, but then almost use it like MailChimp or one of those other kind of email servicing
Sure.
entities,
Yep.
right? Other people use it just day-to-day, just communication source, right?
Yep.
Like
Instead of
whenever you're
typing out
coming
two
into town, you
paragraphs.
shoot me a video,
Yep.
right? Instead of a paragraph or two.
Yeah. Well,
right?
I know you don't pride yourself on your spelling and your so there's
It's
also
definitely not a talent of mine.
right. That's something else too. It's like it's in so many
Right.
cases just easier just to talk to people and just kind of
Yeah.
brings that back to life right away. Oh yeah, Ethan, I know that guy.
Right. So transitioning a little bit,
Yeah.
in business, you've been with them since when they had like 10 people or something like that,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And now it's growing very startup-ish, which is real estate in and of itself too, right?
Yeah.
Where it seems like you start on the bottom and try to work your way up, and there's a lot of pressure in that. How did you balance that sort of, new city, new town, all of these different things when you started working with
Yeah,
them?
so it's really cool because I knew the guys who founded the company, and that's how
Okay.
I got involved. I got involved by doing project work.
Okay.
And I really encourage that for anyone that's thinking about kind of doing their own thing or joining something new. Like, you can have your feet in two worlds. I don't know what it's
Right.
like. I don't know how common this is. I'll be curious. How many real estate agents start by, I'm doing something maybe adjacent to it, or I'm doing my own thing, or I'm doing a part-time job that I'm just paying the bills with.
Right.
So I'm going to start getting my feet in this other
Right.
world until I
Right.
feel safe about jumping into it and closing the door behind
Right.
me and never looking back and running
Right.
at real estate. So for me, I was doing project work because I was really curious about what else was out there. I've been in the same business for 12 or 14 years at that time, which is local TV. So I was
Right.
at Wood TV 8 here in Grand Rapids
Yeah.
and Fox 17. And
Yeah.
so I'd done that for a long time. I was curious about what else was out there and how else it would work and all that. So by knowing these guys personally, I was able to add value very early on. Kind of knew that I would be a member of that core team that
Right.
helped get this thing going. And I knew those guys in a personal way, and I knew what they were about. The first time I met our founder and CEO, I never met him before, but the other co-founder, Darren, I'm talking about Connor and Darren
Right.
here, Darren and I work together at the TV station in
Right.
Colorado Springs.
Okay.
So, Bomb Bomb's in Colorado Springs, by the way. I'm here in town visiting.
Yes.
So, what are you doing this weekend? I said, I'm painting this house that I just bought. And he said, when are you doing that? I said, well, pretty much all day Saturday and Sunday. I'm doing it myself. He said, oh, well, can you start tonight? Heck yeah, I can start tonight. If you're going to join me, I can. So he says, yep, okay, yep, I'll see you at your house at 6. Car pulls up. Connor's in the car with him. So these two guys that I barely know, I've only known Darren for a couple months.
Starting this company together.
Right,
ultimately.
right. And but Darren's still working at the TV station, foot in one world while he's getting into the other one.
Yeah.
And so these guys jump out of the car together, start unloading all this gear. They come in and together, like I'd never met Connor before. The first time I met him, he painted my house with me until 2
So
o'clock in
awesome.
the morning
Yeah.
and painted every room. So I
Yeah.
knew these guys were solid guys. They
Yeah.
were raising young families like Megan and I were, and I just knew that they had their priorities right. They were hardcore about growing a successful business, providing real value, humanizing communication, like
yeah.
real passion, but also, solid dudes, solid people that were trying to do it in a way that was, had integrity with who they were as people. So that was the reason I knew I could join this company, knew
Right.
that it would be satisfying for me, because that integrity is baked right into the two guys that founded it. And then it all falls out. Like I know a number of people that work with you a little bit, and I can tell that there's something about you that attracted them, and there's some kinship
Right.
there in how you are. And so there's a lot of that going on for me too.
Yeah, and I think your statement plays out. So the danger report, I don't know if you've read it,
No.
from NAR, they put out the danger report.
Okay. Sounds scary. I
yeah.
want to read it.
Well, I mean, one of the biggest statements that's sort of floating around there in the social circles is talking about part-time people and how that's actually one of the greatest dangers in real estate.
Oh, sure, yeah.
In that foot in, foot out conversation, that they can't be a professional real estate practitioner with playing different worlds.
Because you don't know enough.
You
you're
don't
not
know
doing it
enough. You're
often
not
enough.
effective enough. You don't know what's happening in,
I can
in
see
the
that.
market. But a statement that you made, I think, is so true, and this has happened a lot in my company, and then I see it in other companies. Is before going all the way in is showing value somehow, right? So you perceived and started showing value to them. They took that, but then they also came and painted your house, which was this help value conversation that had nothing to do with the work itself. It was
Yes.
like, how do we build community with people that we like? And because they're in community that we're like, then the work becomes fun and enjoyable, so that when we put in long hours or hard days, it's like, wait a minute, this is centered around this value proposition of just helping each other. Like, would you agree? Like,
Absolutely.
Is that what you see? And then do you see, as a startup and going to all the different conventions and everything, is that, you see that culturally in some companies and not in others play out, or not really?
I guess I would step that back to a bigger, just the general culture piece. Is there, like, by meeting 3 or 4 people from the same organization, do I get a sense of what that organization's about?
right.
And I would say that that's true.
Yeah.
It's not true across very large brands, but
Right.
in terms of offices or teams, like, you get a sense of this is what these people who are
Right.
together
Right.
in business, this is kind of what makes them
Right.
a unit.